Hey guys, Stucky here. You ever wanted to try the best version of the Action Network app? Well, now is the perfect opportunity to do so because we have a special offer to celebrate the month of March and the NCAA tournament. You can get pro access for just $9.99 for the first month. That will give you access to things like Sean Kerner's player prop projections, which are invaluable, real time money percentages, and our model's biggest edges, and much more. All you have to do is head over to actionnetwork.com/madness. That's actionnetwork.com/madness and get there before the deal expires. Cheers.
The Coastal Athletic, the artist formerly known as the Colonial, hosted at the same place it's been since 2020. I feel like it's one of the most nondescript venues, the Entertainment and Sports Arena up in our nation's capital. It's been there for the last 4 years. I feel like no one ever talks about it. Just sort of oh yeah, it's in DC again, and I always forget. It means nothing, I don't think, to this field, but the format a little bit different, I believe, this season with the 14 team setup here. Top four seeds getting the auto bye to the quarters. They'll play on Sunday. College of Charleston, Hofstra, Drexel, UNC Wilmington. Then you have the play-in bottom four: NC William Mary, and then Elon Hampton, and some solid teams, I think, in that mid tier. The 5 through 10: Towson, Delaware, Stony Brook, Monmouth, Campbell, and Northeastern. All of those teams, I think, have a real potential to knock off one of the top four seeds and play on Monday, Kai. I just don't know if they can actually go all the way to the ship on Tuesday. So I guess zoom out here before we get into specific matchups. I am going to look at probably an upset or two to go coming out of that Saturday bunching. But what's your initial thought as you look at the bracket?
Historically, at least the last 8 years, this has usually been a pretty crazy tournament. The one seed is won like not that much, and these teams aren't separated by much in terms of analytics and the predictive ratings. I think a top four team likely wins because of this tournament setup. The double bye is key for those four teams, and they have been the best teams in the league. I think they have separated themselves a bit from the rest. Wilmington is probably my horse here. They swept Charleston this year. Good start. They have wins over Drexel and Towson, and the team they haven't beaten, Hofstra, who I think is very dangerous as well, is on the other side of the bracket. Their offense is really good, Wilmington. Their defense, analytically, efficiency-wise, not great in conference play, but I think more skewed because of poor three-point luck. I think that can get better in a tournament setting. Charleston clearly the hottest team, but Jim, don't sleep on Campbell or Monmouth. They're live in the second round against Charleston.
Yeah, I think Charleston kind of ended up with a tough path here, despite being the one seed.
Yep.
You'd think, oh, we're avoiding the 5 seed, avoiding the 6. Like that 8-9 game there's no slouch. There's a very real chance that Xander Rice would be the best player on the floor against Charleston, despite being on 8 seed Monmouth. And then Campbell has been super feisty lately. They beat UNC Wilmington just in the final regular season week. So yeah, I don't love the path for Charleston. I don't love the price for them. I think the two teams you highlighted, Kai, are the ones I'm looking at. Hofstra and UNC Wilmington. You mentioned the sweep of Charleston for the Seahawks at the top of the bracket potentially sets up well for them. And Matt, I'm in on the pride. Now, I know that they did not get it done in the final game of the regular season, but they had covered 5 straight before that. They're playing well since over the last month. They're 8-2 and a top 100 team for Bart Torvik, just behind Charleston a couple spots. I think that tells you how well that team is playing. I like that they're on the bottom half of the bracket, away from Charleston, away from UNC Wilmington. That would be my horse, Matt. And maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, already talking my futures pick in this one, but I just like the way Hofstra's playing. I think they got scorers, big time scorers that can get buckets one-on-one in this kind of an environment. And Speedy Claxton, your boy, fantastic coach there for Hofstra. So that's where I'm kind of eyeing up in this bracket.
You might argue, in fact, I will argue, that the 4 and the 3 seed got the better potential draw in their opener than both the 1 and the 2 seed, just with the potential matchup. You guys talked about Monmouth, Campbell, both very dangerous, looming against Charleston. Towson, I probably take for granted. I think everyone's probably under or over looked them this season. They dominate the glass, but I just think that team is the least scary of those teams lurking in the 5 through 10 Saturday slot there. So UNC Wilmington, to Kai's point, you can knock off Towson, don't get owned on the glass, and you play a team in Charleston you've already beat twice this season on a neutral court. You've already beaten them at their place too. I kind of like the Seahawks. I'm with Kai. The defense does bother me. Siddle's been really bummed about how poorly they've defended up front. They don't have many good physical big guys very perimeter oriented, but that can play well in a tournament setting. Just a quick spotlight on the bottom half. Now we've kind of breezed over, but Drexel at the 2. Stony Brook and Northeastern, another dangerous 7-10 match akin to the 8-9 above. Stony Brook's been really hot. The Gino Ford team got healthy about halfway through the year. They got some real talent. In Northeastern with Lucas Sakota, if he does return, also dangerous. Bill Cohen finally has some talent. We saw them almost beat Virginia this season. Very long, 6'5", 6'6", interchangeable type of defensive fortress that can potentially pose a problem to the Dragons. And yeah, the Pride could see either Delaware or Elon/Hampton, although I think Elon and Hampton are both toast. Unless Elon, maybe some Billy Taylor magic zone, shoot the crap out of it. No, I'm not buying it either. Kai, futures, best bet on the board. Charleston at plus 200, plus 210, excuse me, the updated odd for BetMGM. What are you looking at here below that?
Yeah, I'd go Wilmington or Hofstra. Plus 325 at BetMGM right now. Again, I would avoid the top 4, or excuse me, the anybody outside of the top 4. I think Wilmington and Hofstra are probably the best bets here. But pick your poison. I think all of these are pretty solid prices if you like one horse over the other.
Matt, I forgot to at the beginning give credit. The regular residents of the entertainment and sports arena. Do you know who they are?
Is it the Capitals? Oh, the Caps play? Or no?
No, I think they're at the Georgetown venue or wherever the Wizards play. This is the Mystics and the Capital City Go-Go, the G League affiliate of the Washington,
okay.
Formerly Wizards or
Thank you.
formerly Bullets. Yeah, no, I'm with Kai. I think somebody in the top 4 wins it. And given the matchup edge that Wilmington, I think, has against Charleston, and the way that Hofstra's playing, the individual talent, that's where I'd look. One other small thing to mention, this is a very slow league overall, 30th in tempo out of 32. I think during the year, Charleston has had a bit of an edge, being like the fast team that bombs threes. It's been a little bit of whiplash stylistically for other people. I expect this to slow down and be much more of a grinder. It's the postseason. Teams kind of value possessions differently. I don't know if that's such an edge anymore. Being able to play that zippity doodah style, I think teams are going to get them into the mud a little bit, and that hurts Charleston. They're not as good there. They do have great depth, Charleston does, but again, with it slowing down, Matt, I'm going with the teams that I think can really get buckets in the half court, and that would be Hofstra or Wilmington. My choice, Hofstra.
Yeah, they did last year in the title game against UNC Wilmington, but it was, not an easy, 5-point win, 64 possession. And last year's team, I think we agree, is just better than this year's team. As hot as this year's team's playing right now, I think pound for pound, you take that. The team that lost to San Diego State in the opening round. I kind of like Northeastern. I'm going to toss it in there for a best bet for me. 80-1.
Oh,
Decent draw because you avoid the top part of the bracket. Like I still think, like I said, the bottom part with Drexel and Hofstra scare me less than Charleston, Wilmington at the top. I think I can beat Stony Brook and get past the Dragons they just saw. 80-1, sure. I think Kai is the better play with Wilmington at 3 plus 325. I just don't like that price. I still think you should be getting close to a 4-1 with that. But
Matt, I'll do the injury devil's advocate here. Lucas Sakota has not been in the lineup.
Right. I think Sakota's got to play. I'm going to figure out his stat. Trying to find some reporting on him. Not exactly the Huntington Hounds, they call them, Kai. Not exactly very well covered in the Bostonian region. But if I can get a Sakota tip, I think I might be in on my Huskies.
yeah, no thanks. They haven't beaten anybody.
You're crazy, says Kai and Jim.
Right.
You're crazy, Matt.
All right, we'll see. I'll put that in my back pocket, you two dupes. All right.
It's finally March, so you know what that means. It's time to say top of the morning to the most famous St. Patrick's Day Shamrock Shavers, our new sponsor, Manscaped. Don't just chase rainbows this March. Make your own pot of gold and groom your little leprechaun with the leaders in below-the-kilt care. Clear your clover forest with Manscaped's Lawnmower 5.0 and join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com and use code BBOC for 20% off plus free shipping. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is your new lucky charm, and it's fully waterproof. So go ahead, shave by the misty moors, shave under a waterfall, shave while betting a second half total. The world is yours. Get 20% off and free shipping with code BBOC at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with code BBOC at manscaped.com. This St. Patrick's Day, make sure your hairy little leprechaun is luckier than ever with Manscaped.